Have you ever looked up at the night sky and wondered, are we alone? It's a question that has captivated humanity for centuries. But what if one day, we get an answer? What if aliens actually came to Earth? Let's dive into this mind-bending scenario. First, let's consider the initial contact. It probably wouldn't be a giant spaceship hovering over New York City like in the movies. A more likely scenario is the detection of a signal, a non-random, artificial message from deep space. Scientists at SETI, the search for extraterrestrial intelligence, would be the first to know. Imagine the excitement and the immense pressure. They'd spend months, maybe even years, verifying the signal before ever making a public announcement. Once the news breaks, the world would change overnight. Panic? Absolutely. Excitement? For sure. Every news channel, every social media feed would be consumed by this one topic. Governments would scramble to form a unified response. Who speaks for us? The United Nations? A coalition of world powers. This would be our first great test as a global community. But the biggest questions would be, what do they want? And are they friendly? The nature of their arrival would give us clues. Did they send a message of peace? Or did they arrive with a fleet of warships? If they've traveled across galaxies to find us, their technology would be light years ahead of our own. We'd be like ants trying to understand humans. Their motives could be anything from scientific curiosity to resource acquisition. Let's assume, for now, they come in peace. The cultural and the technological exchange would be monumental. Imagine learning the secrets of interstellar travel, clean energy, or even the cure for diseases. Our understanding of the universe, of life itself, would be completely rewritten. It would be the dawn of a new era for humanity. But this is just one possibility. What if their intentions aren't so noble? Last time, we talked about what might happen in the first few moments after aliens arrive on Earth. Now, let's dive deeper. What happens next? In the days, weeks, and the months that follow? First, communication would be the single biggest challenge. Forget what you see in movies where they instantly understand us. We'd likely start with math and the physics universal languages. Scientists would send simple mathematical sequences, like prime numbers, or diagrams of our solar system, hoping to find some common ground. It would be a slow, painstaking process, like deciphering an ancient language from scratch, but 1,000 times more complex. Every symbol, every sound would need to be decoded. The first breakthrough, the first shared concept, would be a monumental achievement for all of humanity. Then comes the cultural and the social impact. Imagine the global reaction. Every news channel, every social media feed would be nothing but aliens, 24/7. Some people would be ecstatic, seeing this as the dawn of a new era. Others would be terrified, fearing the worst. Religions and the philosophies would face their greatest test. Are we still special? What does this mean for our place in the universe? This would force us to look at ourselves in a completely new light, questioning everything we thought we knew. Long term, the possibilities are mind-boggling. If the aliens are friendly and willing to share, we could see technological leaps that would normally take us centuries. Cures for diseases, clean and limitless energy, faster than light travel. It would be like getting a cheat code for civilization. Our society would be transformed forever. But this also comes with risks. Would their advanced technology be too much for us to handle? Could we become too dependent on them, losing our own drive for innovation? On the other hand, if they weren't friendly, the story would be very different. But that's a topic for another time. The arrival of aliens would undoubtedly be the most significant event in human history. It would unite us or divide us, but either way, we would never be the same. It forces us to ask the big question, are we ready? What do you think would be the biggest change to our daily lives? Let me know in the comments below. What if aliens finally came to Earth? Welcome back to part 3 of our journey into the unknown. In our last episodes, we explored the initial shock and the global response to first contact. We imagined a peaceful arrival where humanity banded together, sharing knowledge and preparing for a monumental meeting. But what happens next? What happens when the hatch opens? Let's picture the scene. The world holds its breath as a ramp extends from the alien vessel. What emerges might not be little green men or towering monsters. It could be something beyond our wildest imagination, beings of pure energy, silicon-based life forms, or even intelligent swarms. The first challenge wouldn't be shaking hands. It would be understanding what we're even looking at. Communication would be the next giant hurdle. Would they use sound, light, or a form of telepathy we can't comprehend? Scientists would scramble to find a common language, a Rosetta Stone for the stars. This process could take years, even decades. Imagine the frustration and the potential for misunderstanding. A simple gesture from them could be interpreted as a sign of peace or a declaration of war. And then there's the technology. If they can travel across galaxies, their tech is likely centuries, if not millennia, ahead of ours. This could lead to a massive leap for humanity, cures for all diseases, clean and limitless energy, and the secrets to faster than light travel. But this technological gift would come with its own risks. Would we become too dependent? Could their advanced systems destabilize our economy or our way of life? Think about the cultural and the philosophical impact. Their very existence would force us to reconsider everything we know about religion, our place in the universe, and what it means to be alive. It would be the single greatest paradigm shift in human history. Some would see them as saviors, others as a threat. New beliefs and the ideologies would form overnight. The arrival of aliens wouldn't just be an event. It would be the start of a completely new chapter for our species. It would be a story filled with incredible opportunity, but also immense peril. The path forward would require unprecedented unity, wisdom, and the courage from all of humanity. What do you think would be our biggest challenge? Let me know in the comments below. What if aliens finally arrived on Earth? What happens the day after first contact? Imagine waking up to a world that's fundamentally different. Global markets would likely be in chaos. Some stocks would skyrocket, think tech, aerospace, and the communication companies, while others might plummet. Everyday life would grind to a halt. Schools and the businesses might close temporarily as everyone stays glued to their screens, desperate for updates. The internet would be a wildfire of theories, eyewitness accounts, and of course, a ton of fake news. Separating fact from fiction would be one of humanity's biggest immediate challenges. Then, the big question arises, what do they want? Are they tourists, scientists, or something else? Our entire global focus would shift to deciphering their intentions. Scientists would work around the clock, trying to establish a common language, maybe using universal concepts like mathematics or physics. This would be the most significant collaborative effort in human history, uniting experts from every nation. Would we send a delegation to meet them? If so, who would we choose to represent all of humanity? A scientist, a diplomat, or an artist? The debate would be intense. Meanwhile, society would be split. So would be groups celebrating the arrival, seeing it as a chance for enlightenment and the technological advancement. Others would be terrified, fearing an invasion or the loss of our way of life. New religions and the philosophies might spring up overnight, centered around the visitors. The cultural impact would be immense, influencing our art, music, and the stories for generations to come. This new reality would force us to look in the mirror and ask ourselves, who are we, and what is our place in the cosmos? Thus, what if aliens finally came to Earth? In our last episode, we imagined a future where humanity and our new alien friends, the Lumina, began a golden age of cooperation. But what happens next? What does daily life look like in this incredible new world? Imagine waking up, not to the sound of an alarm clock, but to a gentle chime that also adjusts the light in your room, perfectly syncing with your body's natural rhythm. This isn't science fiction, it's Lumina bio-integration. You pop a nutrient pearl for breakfast, a tiny sphere packed with all the energy and the flavor of a gourmet meal, engineered by our alien allies to be perfectly suited for human biology. Getting to work or school is a breeze. No more traffic jams. You step onto a personal transport disc, a sleek, floating platform that zips you silently through designated skylanes, weaving between buildings that now stretch higher than ever, built with self-repairing Lumina alloys. These new cities are a vibrant green spaces, with vertical farms integrated into skyscrapers, purifying the air and providing fresh food for everyone. Education has been completely transformed. Instead of just reading about history, you can experience it. Using Lumina Neural Interface technology, students can safely walk through a virtual ancient Rome or witness the formation of a star firsthand. Learning becomes an immersive adventure, unlocking the potential of every mind. But it's not just about technology. Culturally, we've blended in fascinating ways. We've shared our art, our music, and our stories, and the Lumina have shared theirs. Imagine listening to a symphony that combines a human orchestra with the resonant, light-based instruments of the Lumina, creating sounds we never dreamed possible. We even celebrate new holidays, like the Day of Arrival, a global festival of unity and the exploration. This peaceful coexistence has allowed us to tackle humanity's biggest challenges, With Lumina help, we've cleaned our oceans, restored our planet's ecosystems, and developed limitless clean energy. Poverty and hunger are becoming relics of the past. Life isn't just easier, it's richer, more meaningful, and filled with a sense of boundless possibility. Of course, there are still challenges, new social norms to navigate, and so much more to learn. What do you think would be the coolest part of living in this new Earth? Let me know in the comments. Let's dive into the next phase, establishing communication. This isn't just about saying hello. It's about bridging a gap that could span millions of light years and radically different evolutionary paths. So, how would we even start? Scientists believe our best bet would be mathematics and physics. Why? Because these are universal languages. 2 plus 2 equals 4, no more matter what galaxy you're from. We'd likely broadcast simple mathematical sequences, like prime numbers, or representations of fundamental physical constants, like the structure of a hydrogen atom. Think of it like a cosmic hello, world program. It's a way of showing we are intelligent and understand the basic laws of the universe. But what about language itself? This is where it gets tricky. We wouldn't just send them Shakespeare. Linguists and cryptographers would work around the clock, analyzing any signals the aliens send back. They'd look for patterns, repetitions, and structures that might give us a clue to their grammar or syntax. It's like deciphering an ancient code, but a million times more complex. We might use visual aids, showing images of objects and then transmitting the word for them. For example, showing a picture of the sun, followed by our word for soon. The goal wouldn't be to learn their entire language overnight. It would be to establish a basic proto-language, a simplified system of communication we could build upon. This process could take years, even decades. Every successful exchange, no matter how small, would be a monumental achievement for all of humanity. It would be the first real conversation between two different worlds. The patience and the collaboration required would be immense, but the potential rewards, sharing knowledge, culture, and the understanding would be truly out of this world. What do you think would be the first thing we should try to say to them? What if aliens finally arrived on Earth? Part 7. So, we've talked about what might happen when they first land, how we might communicate, and even the potential for conflict. But let's rewind a bit. What would the days and the weeks leading up to their arrival actually look like? Imagine the moment it's announced, not a blurry FO video, but a clear, official statement from every world government. Chaos? Absolutely. But also, incredible unity. For the first time in history, humanity would have a single, common focus. Stock markets would likely go haywire, but on the streets, you'd see something amazing. People from all walks of life, forgetting their differences, looking up at the sky together. Scientists would be working around the clock, trying to decipher any signals, while the rest of US would be glued to our screens, watching the news 24/7. Every channel, every website, every conversation would be about one thing: they're coming. Think about the cultural explosion. There would be new music, new art, all inspired by this monumental event. Religions would be re-evaluating their oldest texts. Philosophers would have the ultimate existential question to ponder. Would we be fearful? Of course. The unknown is always scary. But there would also be an overwhelming sense of hope and wonder. It would be the ultimate test for humanity, forcing us to decide how we want to be on a galactic stage. Are we a divided, squabbling species, or are we a unified world, ready to say hello? The final countdown would be the most terrifying and the exciting period in human history. The world as we know it would end, not with a bang, but with a shared, held breath, waiting for our first interstellar visitors. What happens next? What if, after all our searching, all our wondering, they finally came? Welcome back to our final part of What If Aliens Came to Earth. We've explored first contact, communication barriers, technological exchanges, and the even potential conflicts. But now, we're at the endgame. What does a long-term future with extraterrestrials on our planet actually look like? Imagine cities where human and the alien architecture blend seamlessly. New York, Tokyo, London, now with structures that defy our understanding of physics, built alongside our familiar skyscrapers. Our economies would be completely transformed. Industries we can't even dream of today would emerge, centered around alien technology and the resources. Think about interstellar trade, not just between countries, but between worlds. New jobs like xenobiologist, exolinguist, or starship pilot would become commonplace. But it's the cultural impact that would be most profound. Our art, music, and the philosophy would be forever changed by alien perspectives. Imagine listening to a symphony composed on a world with three suns, or reading a novel written by a being that perceives time differently. Our own human identity would be redefined. We'd no more longer be just Americans, Chinese, or Nigerians. We'd be Terrans, representatives of ours in a much larger galactic community. Of course, challenges would remain. Integration is never easy. There would be misunderstandings, disagreements, and the groups on both sides resistant to change. But the ultimate outcome, humanity, enriched and expanded. Our horizons would stretch from the deepest oceans to the furthest stars. We would have new allies, new friends, and a new destiny among the cosmos. The arrival of aliens wouldn't be the end of our story. It would be the beginning of a magnificent new chapter for all of us. Thank you so much for joining me on this incredible journey. It's been a blast exploring these ideas with you. If you've enjoyed this series, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more what-if scenarios. What should we explore next? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching.